Well, here is January 2nd. Happy New Year, everyone. We did get some snow, ice up here. Reason I'm here, I did do some plowing. This is our infamous second-hand plow truck. I'm developing a problem here, I noticed, and you can see in the oil cap there. Our poor 22RE Toyota motor here is a little tired. I was noticing the crankcase oil is coming up above full, and I noticed I have to add antifreeze. It's always kind of done that, so we're talking head gasket and whatnot. But in lieu of that, what we're going to do, we're going to change the oil because it sounds like a Mercedes diesel right now. And the mechanic suggests never cared for the bar leaks stuff, but we're going to mix up a potion of that, add it to the radiator to buy us some time till we find another motor or decide what we can do with this one. He says he has trouble rebuilding these. The bearings don't seem to last if you replace them, so we may look for another motor, who knows. But right now, put some oil in and start it up, drain the oil and start it up here. And I think it's maybe about 30 degrees out here. Well, the Ranger is in for service right now. It's all set, but the fuel sending unit, fuel pump, it was intermittent, so it's been replaced. And some other transmission, the bands in the transmission were adjusted because it was slipping a little. I guess it's okay. And he says, while I'm doing the oil change, pick up, it's funny for the Ford, pick up a PH8A for the Toyota. That's the famous Ford oil filter, and that'll fit this motor just fine, he says. So, nothing big deal. Oil filter's right there. I've done this once. We'll put a nice big Ford PH8 filter in there, and we'll drain it and start it up. This is what I'm talking about. The full on this dipstick is probably an inch below there. Full is probably like right here. Oh, I could wipe it. But okay. I got the oil filter loose and I've got the oil plug loose. So let's drain. And being 30 degrees, it's going to take probably 20 minutes for this oil to leak out of here. I did this when I bought this truck back yonder. Nothing there. Let's see if what he says is true. Take my Ford. Where's my replacement? Oh. Says it'll thread right on there. Oh, so stay up there. Oh well, looks the same to me. Let's give it a whirl. Oh, I know, you're supposed to take some drop oil, some oil, and go around the ring. I don't know why, but that's what I was always told to do. Some oil, put it on the ring. Let's shove this in and see how we do. So we're taking a Ford filter and we're putting it on the... I don't want to break that. The wires are a little big. Okay. Get that a little tighten from up above, but I don't know if you've heard it first here, but okay, there's our Ford filter on the Toyota. Take out your little Toyota filter, put a Ford in there. Oh, the glove is falling off and I'm losing my fingers already. Okay, Oh, it's cold and windy. Cold now, wind. Oh, this is just lovely time of year. And there we go. Let that nail go in where it's warm. Warm up a little bit. Let this do its thing. It's like flows like syrup. Okay, here's our concoction for the radiator. I was told to get the pellets that are like antacid, the drops, but all I could find was the powder, which is probably the same thing. Like I say, our head gaskets I think is leaking into the crankcase or whatever, but this one here says contains the original pelletized formula. I guess there are pellets in there. I don't see any. And for a 4-cylinder, it says use half the bottle, and you can pre-dilute it with water. So I'm going to take this little can here. I'm going to cut this ridge off it. Which, by the way, I've had problems. One area of the place where I had some work done, they removed one of the house beams, and when they replaced it, they must have left a gap. So I think the mice were coming in there. And let me cut this ring off. What I did is I would take this ring and I twist it around like a figure eight, and I tucked it into the aperture there where the gap was, and some steel wool, and never again have they've entered through that entrance where I put these. I'll show you. It's hard to do one hand, but you get the idea as I can open. I'm going to take that ridge off this so we can make our radiator mixture. And I'll save this sharp, jagged ring for another project. So the instructions say to shake well, which I've done. And I was kind of, I have regular tap water here warmed up on the stove. And I have some runoff water that came off of the ice melting the other day. And well, I know this stuff here has all kinds of additives and gunk in it. By when the water evaporates, all the debris that's left behind. I'm just going to use the rainwater, I think. And I'll put half the bottle in, and I'm going to mix it with some of the rainwater. This is nice and warm. I've already done my shaking. And it says add half, so it's 11-ounce bottle. I don't have a measurer, but we'll just... I'm assured the pellets are in there. Oh, they're at the bottom, see? Well, I'm going to put it all in. What I don't use, I'll just keep aside. Dissolve those pellets in there. Okay, while we wait for our pellets to dissolve here, I'll go over some other things we've been working on. Just so you know, what I'll do with this is you twist it up into a figure eight, and if you have any openings that you're worried about anything coming in, I don't know, it can be used for something. On the ongoing saga of the RCA 5-disc here, learning experience, the other CD drive came in, which was the exact match, and it does the same thing. It does not work. It does not read discs. So we're thinking either power supply, or again, I'm looking at this board here, which is the M Audio. What do they call these? They call it the C Music board. And although I've tested it, I'm going back to these transistors over here. One of these transistors, it looks like it has a hole in the top of it. It tests okay. It's this one right here. It's a little tiny, I'll get you some focus. It's hard to see behind the capacitor there. That hole right there. Just under the magnification, I just don't like the look of that. So I've gone ahead and ordered some, these are general purpose replacements. But 2SC3203, we'll pop a few in there and see how that does. And that's a CTC 25 there with the broken door. And we had sourced a replacement for that. We just haven't got back to this one yet. And then the video, which earlier you've seen, This is the CTC25 that we just picked up the other day, and it had the door, and it fell out. The roll pin slid. I found the roll pin inside the chassis, and a yoke wing nut, and no door. So I was able to sort, and the pulls, you want to call them, the decorative knobs at the bottom. One was missing. The owner said one was missing. Well, through the efforts of some nice people, I was able to not only resource perhaps one of the pulls, the missing pull that belongs here for this set, and the tube tests very strong, by the way, which you may have already seen. We're able to locate a door and a factory service manual. I just like things to be complete. I don't like half broken, missing part items. So we have a door and a pin, and a door and a pin, and that was a very, very welcome to find these items for those sets. Moving on, I was mentioning the RCA CD there. I picked this up through an ad the other day. This has a lot of issues that I'll go through probably in a later video. I've removed the spindle because it's missing the mat. It's a Magnavox 1967 or so personal amplified record player. 45 adapter is in the back. I've glued the holder back in because that was ready to go missing. This turntable plays and cycles quite well. It's an all germanium amplifier. It has an issue. The sound is not good on one channel. The green has black and green. I'll call it the green channel, which I assume may be left. I'm not certain, but it's I'll do a video on this separately later. I removed the roll pin from the spindle to try to straighten it and get these levers out of here, but it just scrapes. It was actually crushed and turned, so it will not drop a record. I did manage to source one. It's very similar. I don't know. It must be for the full-size Magnavox. And it's the only thing I noticed from the pictures is it doesn't have the slot here for the clip, the retaining clip. Another thing missing from this changer is these folks that this is off a garage changer. The transit clips, they remove them instead of flipping them up. They take them off. I've seen that done time and time again. But anyway, I have the roll pin for the spindle there, the C-clip, and the retaining clip for the spindle, which the one we bought does not have, although it's a Magnavox. Just for case study, I want to see if this will drop records. It's missing, again, it's missing has an indented, sunken rubber mat here. This is just like a pie plate. This is 9 inches, so this mat is about 9 1/4. I'll have to make up some kind of mat for this. This is just experimenting. Again, it's we have the SAMs, and we'll get to this at a later date. What I did with this, twofold. This came along with it. The Memorex Curtis, Crosley, whatever you want to call it, look-alike, complete with a dime on the needle. But this operates, and what I did was, for what it is, I tapped the phonograph, the cartridge from here, ran it into the amplifier here to verify that this does have a problem, that the problem's not with this cartridge. I haven't done it the other way. I haven't played this cartridge through an amplifier yet, but again, I don't feel it's the turntable, the cartridge on this setup. There's a problem with the amplifier. Most likely dried up capacitors where I'm going at this point. The outputs test okay. It's just one channel is very strong, the other channel is weak and thin. It does play through both, but the balance control tells different. Tells you which side is working and which one isn't. What I wanted to also do with this piece of crap here is I went into the CD, it just was stuck shut. It had some sugary soda or something on here. But the CD in this piece of crap actually works. But it's not the same style. It's not a Sony pickup. I was hoping it would be like the RCA and I could substitute some CD player parts in to see what's going on. But that's that. This thing came with a dime stuck to it. But anyway, the Magnavox, this was a tag along. The Magnavox was what we purchased, and this kind of came along with it, and kind of used it twofold to learn a little more about the CD drives and the record changer. Other than that, it's basically cardboard. It's not very pretty, and you've seen this stuff. They put a block of wood under here. I'd like to use that DC motor in another Panasonic mid-80s. I don't know what we're going to do with this, but for right now it's a test bed. It's sacrificing itself to repair the Magnavox. So that's where we're at as far as that goes. Meanwhile we'll go back outside and do our oil. Okay, because it's been dripping and splashing all over our cardboard here, but that's about done there. Cap that and add the oil. And let that oil just sit there. And in the meantime, using as a workbench, this is another latest acquisition, the mid-70s plastic particle board console, but it is a Magnavox, and it's a one owner in very good condition. And got the instructions, the spindle and all. The only thing wrong, get you a look here. The only thing wrong with this one is the lever for the on-off reject BSR Magnavox branded turntable there is broke. It still slides though. We'll have to mend that somehow. I'm keeping an eye on things here, all quiet, all loaded up and ready for another round. As you can see, there's nothing. The radiator is dry, not dry, but the good news is there's enough that we can add our formula in there. And when I get done adding this oil, one-handed everything here, you'll see what I mean when I start this. So 34 degrees, just a degree or two above freezing out. Not too bad, just the wind. When the wind blows, that's what really cuts through you. Now it's new oil, but oil eats rubber. So, okay, in any event. Again, you can see the evidence of water in the oil. Let's go get our mixture before sundown. We're gonna have to let this run and run and run and run, he says. Okay, before we start this up, or before we add our mixture, I'm going to start it up. And you'll see there's our mixture there. When you hear this start, you'll know what I'm talking about. The only thing I've done to this truck this year was I changed the ignition because the original key wore out so much it wouldn't turn to lock, so I couldn't take the key out nor start it without jiggling it 100 times. And I know I could take some of the what do you call it's out of there and make it work, but I just went to the dealer and gave them the number, and they cut me a new key, and I was able to put the original in. The aftermarket ignition just did not function properly. Plus, it doesn't work with the doors and whatnot. But the aftermarket one would not go. It would start, but I couldn't push and turn to get the key out. It was bizarre. So, back with the original key, the original lock. What's going on here? I have nothing. Okay, take two. I believe when we were putting the oil filter in, we upset. There's a connection on the starter solenoid that was loose. So we're good. I want you to hear the motor. Sounds better with new oil. Let's check for leaks if it'll keep running. Those are the bearings down there. Okay, no leaks. First time with a Ford oil filter. Alright, let's add our formula. Oh, this wind again. Whoops. Yeah, it's just gonna stall. Oh, can't reach the gas. That's it. Come on, baby. Ah. I was only going to put half of this in. Oh, the pellets. See, everything's down at the freaking bottom. I'll put the whole thing in. These pellets really didn't dissolve here. I'll put this back. Key is you have to keep this running to get that stuff in your system. You can't just sit. Come on, baby. Dissolve some pellets. Oh, come on. Shove that in there for a little bit. Certainly, it is the winter months here, so we can't be adding too much water. So we'll add some antifreeze. Damn, I don't know if this is 50-50. It says 50-50, but I believe because this truck used antifreeze, I would go to the local auto recycler and they offer recycled antifreeze for about $2 a gallon. So I think that's what we're running. I'll save the new antifreeze for the daily driver. I think our stuff is pretty much dissolved here. I'm gonna keep it. Maybe I'll keep some of these pellets in a jar and just dump it in at a later date, if I can do so without making a mess. Those pellets are still undissolved in there. Made somewhat of a mess, but okay. We're making a mess, but we'll clean this up. I want to get all the I can't get all the pellets in the jar. I'm going to throw this in the vehicle. I'm going to dump this in the vehicle. This motor does not sound good. A little antifreeze. Okay, that'll do it. That's a bummer. We'll see if we get another year, and be on the lookout for another motor. The mechanic says find another motor. Thanks for watching. Well, the good news is it's got good heat inside. That's another thing the plow is acting up to. That needs to be drained. Let's go for a little drive here, just see how we do. Really been a good truck. It's 236, and this motor was already changed once, I'm told. The oil pressure's never registered since I've owned it. All right. Sounds about the same or a little worse as it ever did, so if it doesn't blow up, we'll see what winter brings. Again, thanks for watching.